Any patch of grass has the potential to become a skyscraper. All it needs is to be put under construction. Welcome back to another episode of Under Construction SA. I'm your host, Thuso Motsomane. And today, we have a special guest. He's a funny guy, he's a sports guy, an all-round entertainer, a broadcaster, Gorge Mokoena. Welcome to Under Construction, Han. How are you doing, bro?
I am doing very well. Huh? No, I wanted to do your voice. No, I'm good, bro. I'm good. Hello to everybody who's watching. I've been watching all the videos and seeing you say this thing the whole time. So hey, it was nice to get it for myself too. Um, firstly, before we start, thank you. Thank you for giving us a platform. Thank you for allowing us to come on. Thank you for thinking of us who are starting out and helping us while we're under construction. Yeah, that's the plug. I
Yeah,
did that one.
man. Thank you very much. For us, it's a privilege to have people at the beginning of their careers to say one day we're gonna pull out a video to say, you know what, this is where it all started. This is what they said, and put it on our social media. So we remember. For us, we're inspired by stories of young black people, not only black, but from any, but most majority of people in South Africa are black, and those are from who are from disadvantaged areas are black. And for me, it speaks. That's my passion point, and you don't choose this thing, as creatives, you would know it chooses you. And I guess Under Construction chose me. And I get the privilege of hosting people like you and having such a show. That's how I look at everything. But anyway, I just want us to speak about you. This is about you, it's not about us, it's not about me. Where does it all start, man? Let's go back to where are you from? What how did you start out? And just give us a picture of Springs, give us a picture of the kind of household you were in.
Yeah, so I'm from originally from Guatemala Springs, on the East Rand. Um, sure, grew up in a two-parent household. I'm an only child, so as you'd imagine, an only child in a strict household, you have to keep yourself busy. You have to find things to keep yourself happy. So I think a lot of my creativity comes from that, just finding joy in being in my own time. I'm very glad about my parents. They pretty much allowed me to do whatever I wanted to do, whether it be sports, whether it be creative stuff and things like that. They really did support me while I was coming up, and showing me that you can go ahead and try anything. I think my dad is one of my biggest drivers because he was one of those, hey, not a mechanic, mechanic anything, take apart whatever it is, get there, a car, whatever, and fix it. So he really taught me to like go out and do things for myself, learn, figure out. There's answers for everything. So that's where it all started for me. Or I've always been a bit creative, and yeah, I think that's where it came from. I think you just on mute there.
I was not aware that I was going because I'm asking a question. Ah, but speaking about your parents,
Mm.
now that you old, what are you grateful for that they taught you or that they instilled in you while you were young and that you are able to apply now?
Um, I think for me it's two things. Discipline is number one. So discipline when even if you're messing around with something, see it through, do it fully, Um, show up each time. You're going to learn, you're going to get better. That's the number one thing. And number two, as I said previously, my father really taught me how to figure out stuff. So if you have a problem, figure it out. We can all cry, we can all do whatever, but at the end of the day, if you can figure out this problem, if you can look at the issue and find a solution, that's all he wanted.
Solution-minded discipline, and I think it's a critical part. When you speak about discipline, right, and parents and homes, you remind me of this.
Yeah.
This example I always use that, if they teach you, in black household, when they teach you that when you
Mm.
come into the house, you leave your shoes outside, right? I have a friend of mine that even at an old age right now, because
Yeah.
that was instilled in him, he still has the discipline. He still does that, even if it's not even required now. But when he was young, it was. So that speaks to. I see you. Did you want to say something?
No. I love the Sekgowa in steel. It wasn't in steel. You guys are talking about in steel. That man got it beaten into him. Even now, when he steps into the house with his shoes on, he just hears that twa in his head, and he's like, "Ay." But it's fine. But it's fine. Let's stick with the English in steel.
I guess he got beaten up. I would love to ask you, what's your earliest memory of you as a creative, and especially maybe I want to say, because you are making jokes already, the comedic side of you.
The comedic side. I think I've always been just generally creative, like drawing, um, like all of those type of things. The big comedic, the one memory I can remember where it was like on purpose was in high school, when we were doing one act plays. So a couple of my friends were running the thing. They needed people to come. We didn't have a script, and we kind of riffed our way through that. And in terms of like the inspiration of that, I used to watch the weird shows. I used to watch Whose Line Is It Anyway? The sarcasm, the things like that. That's where I learned a lot of those type of things. While people were watching, I could say half and half, sister or whatever. I was waiting for those type of shows. And I think early, that's what I remember really shaping comedically. But creatively, I think I've always been drawing. When a super strikers, then I draw a whole team of players and stick them on my wall, things like that. So yeah, I think that's the earliest.
So you were that kid in class while we were doing maths formulas. You were busy drawing super strikers in class, and everyone is doing corrections of the last
Listen.
homework.
You guys are busy doing algebra. Now I want it to be Shakespeare Mokoena. That's all I care about. Forget about your algebra.
Yeah. So what would you say drew you, to the entertainment industry? What's that? Was it a person? Was it a thing? Or was it just your heart led you there?
Um, I think the thing is for the particular type of show that I do, the every couple of days show, it was very much inspired by Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart is the guy who used to host before Trevor, the Daily Show. So I started seeing clips of that, and the way he'd get the news across, the way he'd joke, the way he'd do all that. And I think that was a big inspiration. It was just, I think it came from the things that I liked watching. So I enjoyed watching that stuff. On the sports end of the thinking football, I really enjoy those ESPN shows and things like that. And I figured I have the practical skills to create these things. So why not? Why not? Something I enjoy, something I love. I love being sarcastic. I love making jokes. I love football. Why not just create content around those things? And the moment I got the chance to, I went for it.
Speaking even about the every couple of days show, right? Which is the one
Yes.
that you do the comedy on, right? Which is
Yes.
on YouTube. For those who don't know, it's on YouTube. You can subscribe to it. I encourage everyone to go there. But that's why we're gonna put it in our description bar with everything. You're gonna find it. You're gonna click on the link, and it's gonna take you straight to every couple of days show.
Chief,
Man.
Chief. I'm not calling your show construction and. No, but it's fine.
We'll get it right. What now? I think I'm losing because I was like, oh, why would you say you started the comedy show? People will see people sad. Was it because people were sad, or you just doing it because it's for fun? Why did you start? Why did you have to do a YouTube channel specifically for comedy?
Well, the first part is that it's the closest I could get to those shows. You know what I mean? It's the closest I could get to what Trevor's doing on the Daily Show, the format of the show, and I think the big motivation is that when you watch the news, yes, it's just always so negative, and we're reading about the saddest stories and things like that, and hearing about them. So what I really wanted to do was to just give people a break, honestly, just give you 5 minutes where you don't have to worry about millions found in people's beds. You don't have to worry about any of the sadder news, where you can just get a break from it all and have a laugh. So it started off as a politically inspired show, but then I found that that gets it's leaning towards where I'm trying to get away from. So then we changed it to become that world news, the weirdest news from the world, things like that. And yeah, it's really just to give people a break. On the football side, um, I really just want to shine a light on African football, man. Like, I grew up watching the PSL deeply. And I remember just the beauty of the stories and things like that. And people weren't really giving that out. And I want to do those things, shine a light on those type of stuff. It doesn't always have to be about analytics and the game and all that. We can talk about things around the game, stories from yesteryear, things like that, just to give that little bit of entertainment value, again, based off of ESPN and all those places. So that's the inspiration behind the two shows
Oh,
or
speaking
channels.
about speaking about the PSL, right?
Mm,
Isn't it messed up that because this is something that I don't know what I picked up. Was it on my phone? Because I used to be a huge fan of South African football. Like I used to be a huge sports fan actually. Like I'd go to the stadiums, I'd buy my scarf, I'd buy everything that
mm.
Kaiser Chiefs, because I'm a Kaiser Chiefs fan, so I'd buy everything.
Okay,
So
no,
everyone,
we can carry on talking. It's fine. You're a Chiefs fan. We can carry on talking. What if it was Pirates? I was gonna stop this right now and go to bed. I don't want to talk to those guys. But in any case, you were saying.
don't worry, because I'll pay you more. So my grandmother would send, actually my mother would send money because I'd moved to the rural
Mm,
areas to buy me
mm,
Sokalatu. Every Wednesday I'd go and buy Sokalatu. Every time I'm
mm,
home for holidays, my mom would
mm.
bring me about the Glamour Boys magazine, your Kickoff magazine. And I
Yeah.
remember with my love grew because it was on SABC at that time. And I'm like, how messed up is it? And I don't know what your views on it. How messed up is it that ordinary South Africans from the rural areas, because that's where I was, um,
Mm.
and the township, cannot watch local football?
I think it's a mixture of a lot of things. I think our football the PSL and all that moved from being about the game and about the people and about the entertainment and all that. And the moment money hit, they had a choice to make between, hey, we can make more money, TV rights, things like that, move it away from the people, or we could stay with the people. And sadly, they chose to go the other way. So I think that really does impact, like you said. All you could watch was SABC. I grew up in a house with no DSTV. I knew every single PSL match that was playing. I would watch Hellenic versus Manning Rangers on a Sunday, right? But the moment they took it away from us, um, things kind of veered off, and I think we're still dealing with a big part of that in our football. That money has, instead of improving everything, it's given our owners and people avenues to make money away from people and not really have our interests at heart.
But the thing is, why are we
Mm,
then? And I'm sorry, we're gonna
mm,
go
mm,
back
mm.
to it. But for
No,
me, is
no.
we the supporters, right? We the fans. Why are we then quiet about this? What? Because at the end of the day, the target market is us. Why
Mm,
are we quiet seeing this injustice continue? Because young kids don't have anyone to inspire them. Like you can imagine the condition in the rural areas. You can imagine the condition in the township. This keeps us off the street. This helps us stay away from drugs. You get inspired. You see people like
mm,
you on TV. Someone who
mm,
grew up in
mm,
Soweto, someone who grew up in Spring, someone who grew up wherever we are from the disadvantage, being on TV and like I can make it. But
mm,
now
mm,
you've taken out away that from the kids, and the kids now we wonder why we end up in drugs. And for me, it's
mm,
like, why are we quiet? Why are
mm.
we not doing anything about it?
I don't think it's even quiet. I think it's even worse than that. We don't care. We don't care. We've got an apathy towards that thing. So there comes a point where um, once these things are moved away, like you say about the township, I remember we used to have the tournament, the Kokasi, and we used to have scouts, and the stars would be there, and we could pick up the guys. This guy used to live down the street, and he got taken and whatever. Once those things start moving away, I think you get angry for a little bit, but then at the end of the day, I think we're just apathetic right now. I think we don't care. Like it doesn't move us even to argue or fight, you know. And that's the sad part of that. That's the sad part. If you look at sports like rugby and all that, they focus so much on grassroots levels, all the way up to Springboks. Um, they're so engaged in that. Whereas with soccer, like I said, we no longer see those people at our games. We no longer see people scouts. I can point to the people. I don't even know that many people that actually made it to the PSL anymore. You know, back then you used to point, and Antoinele used to come from here and that. So I think it's a mixture of things. But I'm not gonna say we don't care. I'm not gonna say that we we've fallen out of love. We've actually fallen out of love with that thing. It's just apathy now.
And I hope things are going to change, and I'm going to be part of the change at some point. You know, as I'm building, I'm going to stand up and say, enough is enough. You know, we
Mm,
can't sit
mm,
by and look. And as fans, we have the power, and I believe we have
mm,
that,
mm,
and
mm,
we can make a change. So, but
mm.
anyway, I want to
Yes.
ask you about is there any past or present figure, right, that has impacted the way or has shaped the way you think?
Um, I think Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart is like even the way he used to look at the world. You know, a lot of these guys are polarizing. A lot of these guys are, if I'm ANC, I can't be DA. I can't see what you guys are thinking about. I can't see vice versa. I have to be on my side all the time and agree with everything. Whereas here comes this guy who's making jokes about everyone. You know, it's objective. He's telling truths about every single side. So I think a lot of my thinking comes from that. Besides the comedic things, you have to have a bit of that to be able to see the world that way. Like to see, you have to be open to see the little nuances and things like that. And I think Jon Stewart for me was the biggest inspiration for me. And I think that's who I'm chasing.
Wow, it's amazing, man. It's really amazing. So, what would you say it takes for someone to do what you do, like the comedic part? Like, what's the process looking like? What do you do in the process of doing your shows? Well, what is the? I want to know the behind the stuff. What is the disciplines?
Yo, okay, I'll tell you how my week looks. So what I usually do is I collect stories for a week. Um, every day going onto news sites, picking stories. Obviously now it's the weirdest stories, finding them, putting them into a list. Then I prep. Usually writing is day and a half, where I'm just writing. I also work a 9 to 5, so when I get home, focus on that, write. Then I shoot usually on Tuesdays. Yeah, I had to learn a lot of other things. I had to learn how cameras work. I had to learn lighting. I had to learn all that stuff. So people might just see the show at the end, but there's that prep that comes in outside of the jokes and things, right? The jokes is a lot easier. I'd say that even with the jokes, I look at it like a science, if that makes sense. So I wrote down joke structures. I had to learn joke structures. I'm not a comedian by trade. I had to learn joke structures. I had to learn, hey, this follows this, and a punchline is here. We're going to do a misdirect. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Especially since the format that I chose was YouTube. You know, Pela YouTube, hey, people click off fast. You know what I mean? If I don't grab you in that moment, people click off. Then there's looking at the other platforms. I have to make jokes in a specific time frame so that I can put it on TikTok and not bore people to death. You know what I mean? I'd say in anything, if you're going to do something, treat it like it's a science. Learn behind it. Like when I watch the comedians that I enjoy explain, I love behind the scenes stuff where they speak about jokes and you can hear or there's a science behind what they do, you know. So it's a lot of that. It's a week's worth of work, um, putting the stories together, writing the jokes, shooting, editing afterwards, and then posting. It's yeah, it's quite the process.
Yeah, I like the fact that you even explained to people that they must just give themselves to the art, right? Because my other question was going to be, what was your advice? Because as I hear, what is your advice to someone who wants to do what you do? But I think you answered that. Rather, right now, I want to pitch to you that what does it mean to you being a creative?
Yo, I'm gonna go. Let me try those serious artists. It's freedom. It's just unadulterated freedom. Where you can speak to the world and the world can speak back to you. That was good. No, I think being a creative for me, it's something that has been in me. So I joked earlier, but it really does feel like freedom, especially in a place where I can put it out to the world. It's so nice to do a thing that you enjoy, and be able to possibly maybe change somebody's life. Possibly somebody watches the thing and goes, I want to do the same thing. But there's so much of our lives where we're doing things that we don't want to do. Back to the soccer analogy. I know so many star soccer players that are accountants. you know
Mm.
they might not have gotten the opportunity. They might not have taken it seriously. They might have been told to go another route. So it really is great to be able to do something that I enjoy and I love, and I can put it out and get feedback. I think that's what being a creative means to me.
Being able to express yourself,
Yeah.
being able to be free. Because I think I like what you say, because you say there are a lot of people that that are soccer stars, but they're doing so. For us who are able to do this, it's actually great. We must be grateful, because not many, and some for various reasons. Because you can imagine being a creative, telling your family, or actor, they don't understand that. No, I want to be a
Yeah.
rapper. Yo, I want to rap. I want to be on TV.
Mm,
Yo, someone can say it. So go look for a job. It's not a job. They expect it. They want to see money on the table right now. They don't take art serious. But I think we're getting
mm,
better, and especially because, and I always say, we are going to become parents. So we know how it feels
mm,
for some of us that we're not allowed. I wouldn't say I was not allowed.
mm,
When I say some of us, I'm speaking in general, but I was just allowed
mm,
to do anything I want. They said to me, I don't want you one day to say, I said you must do this. I want to, if you fail, I have no
yeah.
part to play in your failure and whatever you chose. I want to be free. I'm like, wow, okay, mom, thank you for that.
But I
So
also think an important message is that sometimes it's not as hard as you think. Like sometimes people may think that you need a studio, litty light and makeup and all that and costume changes like someone I know. You need all those. You need all those things in order to do it. Sometimes it's just about switching on your phone, putting on your camera there. Sometimes it's about trying. Sometimes, it's also, I think what's important with what we need to show people is that, hey, wait, see, my piano can happen on Windows XP. You can
yeah.
take that little thing that you have and make it such a big thing, and it's not so hard. You don't need a full studio. You don't need all that stuff. You can start where you are and really make a difference.
So speaking about starting where you are and making a difference, what would you say to someone that right now is listening to us and they're very fearful? Like they're it's either they're procrastinating, and most of the time we fear failure. I know, because I suffer from that, but I
Mm,
do it anyway. I've learned to say, you
mm.
know what, yeah, fun and it. You die, you die. Just swim, sink or swim, God. I just do it anyway. So, but someone that's fearful, someone that's like the fear of failure and the fear of rejection. What would you say to someone that they want to maybe pursue what you're pursuing or any other career, but they fear failing or fear being rejected?
The thing I always tell people is that, Joe, I can always delete this video. If it doesn't work out, I can try it. People are not gonna love. People might not watch. I can delete it. Or I always tell my partner, you can shoot it, and if you don't feel like you want to put it up, you can always not put it up, but try. The world doesn't care. Tomorrow they'll be on to the next thing tomorrow. Nobody's gonna laugh at you like that. I think we suffer from that thing already. People are going to look at me and they're gonna say I'm stupid or whatever. But it's like, just go out and do it and try. You're not gonna be good at everything. There's a lot of things that I did that didn't work out. There's a lot of things that sometimes I just have to persevere through. But for the most part, the moment I have an idea, if I can tell you about the Every Couple of Days show, I was talking to a friend and I had the idea. Then I shot it, you know, um, in front of my window. I had on my phone camera, I shot it, edited it a bit. Then I put it out, or sent it to a couple of friends, and they were like, "Wow, this is amazing." So I think fear of failure is always going to be there. Not everything works out, but I think you have to try as many things as you can to get to what you can do very well. And I think the other big thing is that, hey, people don't really care that much. You know what I mean? Like, if I think back to varsity when Nekishabachi school up every day. You know what I mean? The moment Kishabile cut, I thought, oh my God, what are people going to think? Hey, what? And it turned out that people just were like, oh, okay, and carried on. Now I found my thing. If I didn't try, I wouldn't be here. So let's just put aside the fear and just go for it.
Yeah, man. As we head towards the end, I want to ask you about you spoke about perseverance. What are some of the challenging things that you found in the specific industry that you were in, and what did you do to overcome it briefly?
I think the one thing that I'll say is that I always go with my gut. So the big thing about persevering is not just waiting it out. Sometimes you have to iterate through a lot of things. You know what I mean? Like, if you watch the first episode of my show versus what it looks like now, it's completely different, right? And some might say that is perseverance, persevering through, okay, fine, I have to learn something new. It's sometimes so hard to learn new things because you can't get over the fact that you're going to suck in the beginning. You know what I mean? But
Yes.
persevering through and learning and going through all of that stuff is very important. And also, it's again, when you're doing something you love, it doesn't feel like perseverance. Sometimes I'll shoot a show and I'll think to myself, yo, that was trash. And immediately I'll have to go, okay,
Tell
next
me.
time we have to get them next time. You get what I mean? Next time we have to figure this out. Next time we
Yeah.
have to figure that out. So I think that's what, for me, is the biggest part. It's not necessarily the time is taken, it's the iterating. Go with the gut. Try. If you feel like this shot is wrong, change the shot. If you feel like this, do this, do that. Because sometimes we persevere with things that aren't working, or things that we know we need to change or update or whatever. And that also adds to that lack of joy when you lose the joy in the thing. But yeah, I think that's my biggest thing. Be a kid. I'm a kid. I get excited when I get an idea and I have to go shoot it and I have to figure it out. Go for it. You never know what will work out.
Okay. Love it. I love it. I love it. I don't want to add. I couldn't have said more. It's perfect as it is. We are not adding to it. You heard the man. Just apply what he said. Really refine, rework. Don't be stuck with something that's not working. Sometimes you need to refine. Sometimes you need to change. I love it. I wanna. What's your favorite thing about being South African?
My favorite thing about being South African, it's not Bafana Bafana. Uh,
Obviously.
I think the diversity in experiences. I think I've taken so much from having the privilege of being able to be around all types of people, all types of places. You know, there's things you learn from every single place. Like I said, back home, very disciplined and whatever. Then you go to school and your white friends, hey, they've got the confidence to do whatever they want to do. You know what I mean? And being exposed to all these different type of places, it really allows you to craft to craft yourself in a way that I don't think a lot of the world can give you. You know what I mean? I think that's for me the most amazing thing about being South African.
Diversity of culture. You know, we have Xhosas, we have Zulus, we have white, we have Afrikaners, we have English people. I think even me, that's what I love about South Africa, man. That's a great point. We are reaching the end. Since you watched this, I think you know what's coming. I think it's one of the final things we do in Under Construction SA. If you could describe your life right now using a song, what would it be? And please sing the chorus for us.
The chorus, chief.
I can write it. If you wanna do stanza, whatever they call it, you can do the bars, whatever. Go for it.
This man. You're stumping me right now. You've got me. You've got me. Yes, yes. Now all the songs are just flipping through my head. Uh, I'm not gonna sing it, but Kanye West has a song called "Come to Life," and it speaks about when you were down in your dumps or whatever, writing down your dreams, going for your dreams. Things may not work out right, but at the end of the day, if you just stay steadfast and on your dreams, it'll work out. You know, he actually gives you advice for what to do. I'm not gonna. I don't. Yo, you don't want to hear me sing, bro. You don't want to hear me sing. I got that's a wooden mic on your show. I got that's a wooden mic.
That's the idea, but I'm gonna let you go and say what do you look forward to the most? Since you're only starting out, what do you look forward to the most? You only left with a couple of minutes.
I look forward to reaching as many people as I can. You know, I think that's the beauty of what we do and things like that. I love talking to people. I love getting feedback. I love all of that stuff. And of course, hey, if the money follows, the money follows. You know, so I'd love to, at the end of the day, do this for a living. You know, I totally enjoy this, and I think that's what I'm looking forward to. You know, just being able to fully do this thing completely.
Thank you very much for coming on. Under Construction SA, you've heard the man. I think I was inspired by his story. He doesn't even know. There's certain things that I'm like, wow, because we do the same thing, you know, and hearing the background story of how he comes up with the content and how he refines and how he takes his time before and how the content evolves over time because he is refining himself. And I think it speaks to everyone that with whatever you are doing, keep on refining, keep on growing, keep on adding value to yourself. And one day it will become something successful that everyone will celebrate. From us at Under Construction SA, catch us every Sunday, 5 p.m. on this platform. Don't forget to subscribe and to click on the notification button so that every time we drop an episode, we are notified. My name is Thuso Motsomane. I just want to say thank you to everyone who's watching, and thank you, George, for coming on. You follow George. We're going to put everything in the description bar. We're going to follow Overthinking Football. The other one is too long, George. I don't want to put
Every couple of days show. This man.
Every day. Hey, you see how it's still. But guys, thank you for watching. I'm butchering his joke. I think it's time. Goodbye.
Wait. I want to do the voice. Thank you for watching Under Construction.
Cut.